Good day, guys. Good day to you all. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Thanks for being here. As always, the support is much appreciated. You see the banner at the end of your screen, beginning of the end for Leon Bailey at Aston Villa. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Question. How many of you guys watched the game earlier today? Aston Villa versus Liverpool at Anfield. A rather embarrassing moment took place earlier today for Leon Bailey, ladies and gentlemen. And you can tell by his reaction, walking down the tunnel after being subbed out, that he was not pleased about what transpired earlier today. When I started streaming the game and I saw that Leon Bailey was not starting, it came as a surprise to me, given the player's good goal scoring form of late. It really came as a surprise. But then I started thinking to myself, he never started in last week's Premier League game, in the last Premier League game. Never even played any at all. Players like Bertrand Traore was making substitute appearances over him. This week, despite the good goal scoring form, particularly in Europe, Leon Bailey did not start the second Premier League game in a row for Aston Villa. Now, he came on in about, the 18th minute, if memory serves me right, relatively early in the game because of the injury to the centre-back, Carlos, the Brazilian. And, Aston Villa had a change in system and Leon Bailey was introduced. However, Leon Bailey was substituted in round about the 60-something minute, if memory serves me right, not far into the second half, and he was very displeased about what transpired. It's never a good look when a player gets substituted on and then gets substituted off. He was the first substitute onto the pitch and then the first substitute off the pitch for Aston Villa. That is rather embarrassing. Every baller knows that is embarrassing. That is embarrassing when a substitute is brought on and then taken off. First one off, first one on, first one off. That's like a general rule in football. That's very embarrassing. Players are greatly offended by that. Seeing? And then you start to wonder to yourself, is this really and truly the beginning of the end for Leon Bailey at Aston Villa? Ladies and gentlemen, in this particular game against Liverpool, Unai Emery started John McGinn and Matty Cash, a central midfielder and a right back, in positions that are Bailey's natural position. Ladies and gentlemen, that tells you a lot, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's fair to say the writing is on the wall. Is the writing on the wall? That tells you a lot, when a coach, has a winger on the bench, and is starting right backs and central midfielders in Bailey's position over Bailey, You guys, for those who watched the match, saw McGinn playing in that advanced role, which he has been playing of late in recent time. Matty Cash playing in the role that Leon Bailey has mostly been playing this season. Matty Cash is a right back. Traditionally a right back. That's what he is known for. That's what he has made his name for. That is embarrassing, ladies and gentlemen. That's another embarrassment, and just not a good look. You can understand why the player is frustrated when he looks at the starting lineup and sees central midfielders and right backs being played ahead of him. So he was substituted, first one on, first one off. And the crazy thing about it is that, in my humble opinion, Bailey didn't even have a bad showing. There were other players that were performing worse than him. I firmly believe that McGinn was having a worse game than Leon Bailey, but who comes off? Leon Bailey. That's rather embarrassing, ladies and gentlemen. And again, Leon Bailey started heading to the bench and then made a U-turn and headed straight for the tunnel because he was obviously upset with all of what has transpired, and especially with his recent good goal scoring form. You can understand why he would think it would be a bit unfair. He has been playing relatively well since the start of the season. He has not been playing bad, so you can understand why the player would deem it unfair. You know, the fact of the matter is that whatever Unai Emery wants from Leon Bailey, he's clearly not getting. I think that is pretty obvious at this point in time. He doesn't seem right now to have a lot of time for Leon Bailey. And, you know, that's a worrying proposition for Leon Bailey. And if Emi Buendia was around, if Emi Buendia was not injured, Leon Bailey would be even further down the pecking order, which makes it even worse. You combine that with the fact that many Aston Villa fans right now do not have a lot of time for Bailey. They don't think highly of him. And they, frankly speaking, don't think he's good enough. And they're not shy to voice those opinions. Not all of them, but you see the reaction on social media. Many of them are not big fans. Many Aston Villa fans are not, you know, on the Leon Bailey train and haven't been so for, frankly speaking, not long after his arrival at Villa. They jumped off the Leon Bailey train. And it's crazy because it's a sharp contrast to what took place when Leon Bailey first arrived at Aston Villa, ladies and gentlemen. When Leon Bailey was being linked to Aston Villa initially, you know, when he was still at Leverkusen, you know, many of the Aston Villa fans were online on social media, you know, basically saying that people must stop trolling them. They thought they were being trolled when Leon Bailey was first being linked to Aston Villa. And then when they realized that the deal was done, a lot of them could not believe their luck that a player of Leon Bailey's quality was going to Aston Villa. And now, you know, this is what it has gone to. Embarrassing moment for Leon Bailey earlier today against Liverpool. And to be fair, he did have a one chance that he kind of should have done much better. And I wouldn't go as far as saying he scuffed it, but he should have done much better on the chance. But overall, they were worse. They were inferior. Other players on the park for Aston Villa that were worse. Other attacking players on the park that were worse for Aston Villa. You know, so it really and truly tells you a lot right now about, you know, what Unai Emery thinks of Leon Bailey right now. He just, for some strange reason, doesn't seem to have a lot of time for Leon Bailey right now. Jaja say I know it's really sad, and I hope that Leon Bailey can turn things around at Aston Villa and really prove to everybody that he is the baller everybody at Aston Villa originally thought he was. Seeing, knock up the likes button, subscribe and share, and hit me in the comment section and let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Take care, guys. Stay safe, and until next time.